Hey, what's up guys? So I thought maybe I would kind of show you a demonstration of the different kinds of pistols and gear and everything else that's out there for concealed carry. Usually pistols are categorized into three different sizes. You have full size, you have compact, and then you have subcompact. So the way I explain it to people, if I'm talking about a Glock, I'll say daddy Glock, mama Glock, baby Glock, right? That's typically what you're working with in modern firearms. Now, every gun has its pros and cons. Every kind of gun is different, and I'll kind of go through each and show you the differences, the different features that a lot of guns offer that are on the market right now. So as you can see right now, all these guns have holsters. They are all, to me, if a gun doesn't have a holster, it doesn't have a home. Like, it's just something that just goes along with your gun that you should always have. If you have a pistol, you should have a holster for it. And it's not just necessarily only for the sake of carrying the gun. It's also probably one of the best safety features you can have for your gun. I'll give you an example. This right here, this is a SIG P365. This holster feeds in, has two belt loops right here, right? So it feeds in through your belt and it sits on the outside of your waistband. So you would carry it literally outside of your waistband like this, right? Now, what's so great about having a holster, period, is especially Kydex holsters, which is what I was talking about in one of my previous videos. If you listen to this, see, it's like a plastic holster, right? But it's molded around the gun in a way that allows for you to have retention in the gun. So when it clicks into place like that, now it is locked into place and there's nothing that can set this gun off. The trigger guard, if you notice, right here, is completely covered, so nothing can get in there and squeeze that trigger. And this gun will not go off unless you get in there and pull that trigger. All modern striker fire pistols are all drop safe. You can throw them across the room, throw them in the parking lot, kick them out of your car, whatever. They will not go off unless you pull this trigger. Now, there's a reason for that. Clear gun, empty magazine, right? There are certain safety features in modern firearms that will not allow these triggers to be pulled unless you have a full firing grip that allows for you to break the shot. If something got caught on this trigger right here, on the side of it, you can't pull it. It's locked into place. I have to get a full firing grip in order to break the shot. You see what I'm saying? That is the only way, the only mechanical way that is possible for these guns to go off. They are absolutely drop safe. So, when you take that into consideration, the only dangerous part about this gun is the trigger itself. Put it in a holster, that actually clicks and locks into place. There's retention here. I cannot pull this out unless I break the retention. Trigger guard is covered. This gun is now safe, even with a bullet in the chamber. That's why I love Kydex holsters. They're much safer. Another example is my Glock 19. Now this gun, this has been my gun for a very long time. This is what I've shot over 20,000 rounds through. I have beat this gun to hell. And this is probably my favorite holster that I own. But it also has a retention spot in it. Now, This holster, personally, I can adjust the retention on it with screws, make it tighter or looser, and I've loosened this up just simply for speed to be able to draw faster, but that's just my own personal preference, and that's something that comes along with, you know, thousands of repetitions of doing the same thing over and over again. You kind of are able to still safely draw and deploy your gun without worry of having, you know, a negligent discharge, even though the retention is much lighter than something like that SIG over there. You see what I'm saying? So, speaking of safety, empty magazine, clear gun, no bullets, right? So if you look at this trigger on a Glock, what you'll see is this is the trigger. Now there's a little button right here. I know it's hard to see in the camera. See if I can get the light right. But there's a tiny little lip right here. That button right there is actually the safety of this gun. So if I grab a hold of the side of the trigger without pressing that little lip, it's locked. It will not go off. I have to actually get a firing grip, press this little button, and then I can squeeze past and break my shot. See what I'm saying? So just because a gun doesn't have a manual safety on it where you flick it up and down on the side does not mean that there are not safety components inside of this pistol. They're built inside mechanically. So they're a lot safer than you think they are. They're not going to just go off for no reason. Your primary source of safety is having a good holster that you can put in, lock into place, and you know this gun is not going anywhere. You see what I'm saying? So, that being said, there's a few different options, a few different brands that offer different safety options. For example, this is a Springfield. This is an XDS. This is a subcompact pistol, which is the smaller versions of pistols. Again, there's retention to these holsters. Now, this gun, again, empty magazine, empty chamber. If you look at this gun, not only does it have the little button right here on the safety, just like the Glock does, like I said, where you cannot pull this trigger unless you get a full firing grip and press through this little button right here to break the shot, but also it has something called a grip safety, which is this little lever back here. You notice that this thing will press in. If this is not pressed in, even if I have this button pressed down, I cannot break the shot. I have to have a full firing grip to press this down as well as press this button down on the trigger in order to break the shot. See what I'm saying? So there are many mechanical safeties inside of these guns that a lot of people don't consider, and they just think that all these guns don't have safeties on them, they're dangerous or whatever else. It's not true. There's a lot of things that have to go into place perfectly in order for you to deploy and shoot this gun. You see what I'm saying? So, just a little bit about safeties in modern striker fire pistols. Those are called striker fire pistols. So, next thing I want to talk about is the different sizes of gun. So what you have here, this is Rajni's gun. It's a Glock 43. Little tiny baby Glock, right? Again, empty magazine, empty chamber, nothing. Safe gun. This is a little Glock 43. Tiny little gun, right? It's a great gun to hide. She doesn't have to wear a belt with it. The reason why she doesn't have to wear a belt with it is because this is called an Ulti-Clip. What this thing does, if you can see that, there's a little hook in there. And basically, it's like a little ratchet strap. You put like your yoga pants or your jeans or whatever you want in there, tuck it up underneath this safety clip, and then you pull this lever down and it cranks it down and holds the holster into place. So when you draw your gun, the holster stays in place and you don't end up, you know, pulling the whole holster out when you're trying to pull your gun out, right? Another feature that is worth pointing out that I've mentioned before is something like this. This is called, well, the person who invented this is part of a company called T-Rex Arms, and he names all of his holsters after dinosaurs for some reason. I don't know why, but he called this the Raptor Claw. So everything that I've ever seen on the internet, any other company that I've ever seen make something like this, they'll call this a claw. And what it is it's a piece of plastic that basically, when you put this on your waist, this claw pushes against your belt and pushes your belt outward while tucking the gun inward into your body. Or, you know, even if you don't have a belt, like this is actually made for not having a belt, but it pushes your pants outward, pushes the gun inward, right? So what it does is it wraps the gun around your body and it hides it better, so that your shirt, your t-shirt, can just fall freely and you're not actually showing your shirt, you know, through your gun where somebody can see the outline of a gun in your t-shirt. It's a great feature to have in holsters. NSR Tactical is pretty expensive. It's probably one of the most expensive holsters I've ever bought, but it was for Raj, so, you know, I just bought her the best. So, yeah, that's just something to think about there, is these little accessories that you can add to your holsters that really make a big difference. Another thing that makes this holster great is, obviously, number one, it has a spare mag carrier. These little guns don't hold a whole lot of ammo. This gun right here is, I believe, 6+1. Yeah, it holds 6 bullets, and then there's 1 in the chamber, so you have 7 rounds total. Nice to have a spare magazine, because you don't have a whole lot of ammo. So, with that magazine carrier, what they have done is they have actually stitched with paracord, which is elastic. It's like bungee cord through. So this is actually 2 pieces. You have the gun holster here, and then you have a separate piece that's not like attached, that is the mag carrier. But they've woven this material, this bungee cord, through to attach it. And what that does is it allows for the gun to actually fold around your body. So the gun molds into your body and helps you hide the gun better, again, so that it doesn't print through your shirt. So if you got a little bit of a belly going on or something like that, this will actually mold around your stomach, so that this part right here, the butt of your gun, is usually what prints. It's what sticks out, pokes out of your shirt, whatever else. If you're wearing 4 o'clock back here, a lot of times that's what you see, is you see the butt end of the gun kind of poking out the back. Well, that's what this is for. It wraps around your body, it tucks the butt end of the gun into your body, like so, instead of out to where your shirt rubs up against this and people can see that you have this little thing poking out on the side of your shirt, and it's noticeable. People know that you have a gun on at that point. So that's a pretty cool feature. I like that a lot. Let's see. So this is my new gun. This is a CZ P10C, and I've kind of decked it out a little bit. I've had some work done on it. Basically, I got a red dot sight here, which is really nice. If you look through this, you can't see it on camera, but there's a red dot in there that just stays on all the time. And the battery life is awesome. It lasts forever. Lasts like years and years without changing the batteries. But basically what the benefit of a red dot is when you look through your sights and you're trying to, like the last video that I just posted actually was talking about sight alignment, where you have to line your sights up at the top and make sure that everything is square at the top, perfect, and then you keep an equal amount of space in between each side of your front sight so that it's dead center in between your rear sight. Instead of doing all that, worrying about that, what red dots do is you zero the red dot to yourself, to you, how you shoot. You zero it to you, and you can be at any weird angle you want, but as long as you can see that dot and put that dot where you want to shoot, that's where the bullet's going to go. It doesn't make any difference what your front and rear sight look like. As long as that dot is on the target, you squeeze that trigger properly, and you will send that round exactly where that dot is going. So that's always nice. I like red dots. They're really expensive, and you know, it just is what it is. But I shoot a lot, and I felt like, you know, I could get a red dot, because why not, right? So the reason why this is gold, by the way, is because whenever they mount a red dot on your slide, what they have to do is they have to cut out a part of the top of your gun so they can mount this red dot evenly on the gun. Well, whenever you cut through metal like that, it leaves the metal exposed, and if it gets wet or something, it could rust. So basically what they have to do is they have to sandblast the whole thing, and then put a new coating on it that is basically waterproof and resistant, and it won't rust on you. And one of the coatings that he had was like this gold color, and I said, oh, that looks pretty cool, throw it on there. So that's basically what happened with that. This right here is something different that you're probably not used to seeing. This is called a threaded barrel, and what this does, I can't get it off right now because it's got a bunch of carbon on it, and this gun is really dirty. Basically, this is a thread. You can unscrew this thread protector, and you have a thread sticking out of the front of your gun. You can put a muzzle brake on there, you can put a silencer on there, whatever else. I don't really care. It's not something I'm ever going to do, but I got this gun for a really good price, and so I went with it. So anyway, that's kind of this gun. But the coolest part about this is not the gun. It's actually the holster. Now, Bob, Raj's dad, knows a guy who makes holsters, and he made this for me. And not only did he make this for me, but he made a magazine holder for me as well. He made it in this carbon fiber look, which is kind of cool. That's just a bonus. I don't really care about that, but it just looks cool. But basically what's so awesome about this holster is if you look at it really close, you see this right here. You see this little ramp right here? That is an addition. That is a modification to the holster, okay? And not only that, but it has one of these claws on it. So what happens is you put this in your belt, the claw right here pushes against your belt and tucks your gun in, while at the same time this pushes the barrel of your gun, the bottom of your gun, out. So not only does it tilt your gun in this way, but it also tilts your gun out this way. So the butt end of your gun that sticks out, if you look and see how big this is, right? That's already a big gun. Well, now when you insert a magazine, this is a 17 round full-size magazine. If I insert this, look how much that sticks out. It's a really big gun to try to hide underneath your t-shirt, but it does hide. And the reason why is because this pushes it in, right? Pushes out, and this part right here tucks it forward. So what ends up happening is the gun tucks in to my body this way, right? This pushes my belt out, which pushes my gun in, and then this part right here pushes this part out, which pushes this part in like this. So the gun actually pulls in and tilts in. to my body. So it makes hiding this big grip with 17, 18 rounds worth of ammo, it makes it to where you can hide it wearing a t-shirt. So gear, your holster, gear makes a huge difference in how you carry a gun. Beyond that, I guess I could show you, like I've mentioned a couple times now, the different sizes of guns. Let's see, I'll use this one. Use this one. And then I'll use this one. So this is what you have. You have 3 different sizes of guns. You have a subcompact gun, which is the smallest gun. This is Raj's gun, right? It's a Glock 43. It's a 9mm. It holds 6 rounds in a magazine and 1 in the chamber. It's a tiny little gun. My hands are already pretty small, and I kind of like engulf this gun if I want a proper grip on it, right? Little gun, easy to hide, whatever, you know, great for women who don't wear clothes like men do, that are kind of baggy and loose. They wear tighter stuff. This is a lot easier to hide than some of the bigger guns out there. So this is a subcompact pistol. This is a compact pistol. This is a Glock 19. This was my primary gun for a long time. This is like in between small and big, and the way I describe it is it's small enough to hide, but it's big enough to still fight with. So it holds 15 rounds in a magazine plus 1 in the chamber, and I can grip and handle this gun a lot easier than I can something smaller. A lot of people like to go out and buy small guns, and the truth is that the smaller the gun, the harder it is to manage and the harder it is to shoot well, because you still have the same amount of energy coming from that bullet, but you have a lot less mass and weight to hold on to help you manage that energy. So that's why a lot of people say smaller guns are real snappy, is because they're hard to control, because there's not a whole lot to hold on to, and there's not a whole lot of mass between you and that explosion that's going off. So again, they're great, easy to hide, but they're not very easy to shoot, and you know, they don't hold a whole lot of ammo, which, not knocking them, there's definitely a purpose for these, but just me personally, in my life and the way I do things, I want more ammo, and I want to be able to control the gun better. So so yeah, that's the difference there. Then you have full-size guns. Excuse me. Full-size guns are massive. These things are huge. The barrels are really long. The grips are really big. I mean, I still have extra space down here that I'm not even touching. You know, this is like your duty gun. This is something that you put in a holster, like as a cop or something like that. This is not something that you would normally carry concealed and try to hide on your person. Handguns can be very big. Obviously, this is a big ass handgun. It's still 9mm. Everything that I shoot is in 9mm. That's just my personal preference. But I mean, you know, this is a range toy. This is something you go out and you shoot because you like to shoot. This is not, you know, or a home defense gun maybe that you sit on your nightstand, that you don't have to try to hide, but you can still get up in the middle of the night and you can have, you know, all of this ammo capacity plus a big heavy brick that helps you manage the recoil and all the energy from that explosion that goes off. These are the easiest guns to be able to shoot well, again, just because there's so much mass behind them. But, you know, for our purpose, for concealing a weapon throughout our day-to-day life, I don't know, it'd be really hard to hide this gun. I don't really see it being a logical option, but they are definitely options. So that's pretty much it. I've already burned up probably 25 minutes or so. But I just kind of wanted to show you the differences between some of these things. Oh, one more thing I want to show you is the difference between a Kydex holster and a leather holster. Now, I know I've already gone over Kydex, but I wanted to show you the difference here. So, like I said before, this is Kydex. This is plastic, right? And with Kydex comes a retention spot that locks the gun into place. Now, the very first holster that I ever bought, the first handgun that I ever bought to be serious about shooting and learning how to shoot, was this Glock 19. And like I said, I have over 20,000 rounds to this gun. And it still runs like a top, by the way. There's no problems with it. But the first holster that I bought with this gun was a leather holster. Honestly, I think the only reason why I bought it was because it reminded me of one of my favorite TV shows, Justified, and the dude carried a Glock, and he had a leather holster with it that kind of looked similar to this, and I thought it was really cool, so I bought it. Well, even though, and I'll say this honestly, even though this particular holster is made out of horsehide, and it's one of the toughest leathers, and it's one of the highest quality leather holsters that are on the market. This is made by Galco. It's called the Royal Guard 2. That's the name of it. Very, very high quality leather holster. Even though that's the case, I will still not ever wear this holster out in public. Number one, you know, it's leather. It just slides in and out. There's no retention. There's no locking mechanism so that I know that this gun is locked into place and good to go. I don't like that personally. I like to hear that click and then I know that I'm fine. The other thing is, this part of the holster right here, even though it's really tough, even though it's horsehide, even though it's double layered, and it has a coating around it to make sure it stays really stiff, this is something that can get in the way of your trigger guard. Do not like that. Again, this is a safe gun, no bullets. But if I holster this in a way that's weird, and this leather piece somehow can get up inside of my trigger guard, I don't like that. Now, are the chances very high with something this high quality? No, not really. In fact, I don't even really know if it's possible just because of the angles that it's cut at. But I don't like it. I just don't like leather holsters, period. I think they're old technology and they used to work great when there was no other options. But we've evolved, you know, we've come out with better stuff. And the better stuff is, in my opinion, it's worth investing in. Not to mention the fact that something like this thing cost me like $100. This is really a serious leather holster. Whereas this, I don't know, this cost me $45. And this is actually better and safer, and it hides the gun better. I don't know, you know, some people are traditionalists and they just love leather holsters, and you know, all power to you, man. That's cool. If that's your style, then great. And I will tell you that they're a lot more comfortable. You kind of forget that you have them on because they're softer rather than having a hard piece of plastic up against your body. But you know, I don't know. I'm just not very comfortable with it. Maybe it's just the generation I'm born into. I'm just not used to leather. I was born into Kydex, so it's like, you know, why go backwards? Like, that's just my train of thought. So maybe I'm just biased. I don't know. But kind of an example of a few things that you can see. I'll do another video maybe tonight. I don't know. I'm sure the wife is getting restless and wondering what the hell I'm doing down here in the basement by myself. But I do want to do a video about how to draw a pistol safely.